Hi there everyone, my name is V and I wanted to make a video to basically encourage people to become a part of the family and friends savings plan. I know in our particular culture that there are so many things that we try to do collectively that sometimes go astray, or sometimes it works for some people and not for others. So then the process then gets this name or this stigma of not working. The problem that most of us have is that we have always been taught to hold on to every penny that we have. And anybody that has done anything business related knows that in order to make money, you have to spend money. One thing also that we have a tendency as a culture to do is we hear something, it sounds good, then we jump in. Like we don't take the time to do the research. We don't take the time to find out the pitfalls so that way we know to avoid them. And it's not to say that things don't work. It's not to say that there aren't people that are successful. It's just merely saying sometimes you have to take the information that you're given, digest it, understand it, research it, and then pursue it. And sometimes we go from hearing it, pursue it, and all of the steps in between we really don't take. And so today I'm gonna go over a presentation. And you may have seen the presentation, versions of the presentation before, but this is basically my compilation to make sure that it's easy to understand. Number one, that you understand the possibilities of what this family and friends savings plan is really about. And quite honestly, this is just to be able to change the economic outcome for everybody. And I don't care if you reach out to other cultures, or our Caucasian or our Spanish or our Vietnamese brothers and sisters. It doesn't matter. This can be something that can literally change your economic status to a point where it relieves the stress and tension of your day-to-day or your month-to-month living expenses. Or if there's something that you want to invest in, if there's something, a business that you want to pursue, if there's investments that you want to make, if there's savings plans that you want to make. So I have a 16-year-old, and the first thing that crossed my mind was making sure that his college pursue is without any hesitation, that he has a car that he doesn't have to worry about the payments or maintenance on, that he has housing that he doesn't have to worry about. Especially now with everything going on with the economy, it's harder and harder for kids to get a job. When I was growing up, it was easy to go to a theme park or a food service place and get a little part-time job so you can make money, to understand that you have to work to make money. And now, because of the different changes in economics or whatever, they're not hiring kids until 18. So that 15-year-old or the 16-year-old that wanted the job at the local grocery store, is a little bit harder for them now. So then they are definitely reliant upon their parents to help them. One thing is that I tell my son all the time is to make sure that he pursues other avenues. The traditional form of making money is not always open all the time. And now with the economy and the downturn that it's having, it's really, really much harder for your teenagers and things of that nature to get a job. But in that same thing, if you can boost your financial overview, month in and month out, and we'll talk about the residual income here. But this is basically something that you can sit down with a group of your family or a group of your friends and be like, look, We all need to be able to do things financially that we haven't been able to do before. We all need the boost in finances where we can save on a whole nother level, where we can invest on a whole nother level, where we can pursue dreams on a whole nother level. And this is basically a plan and a process that can be done anywhere with anybody. They just have to have the mindset of going after it and making sure that everybody that they bring in understands and has the same mindset. Everybody has to do their part. And it's just that simple. When you're talking about like a construction site and you have, possibly hundreds of people on like a commercial construction site, the end result of that particular project is that there is a building that's fully equipped and ready to house somebody. But every single person has to do their part, brick by brick, layer by layer, electric line by electric line, whatever. Everybody has to do their part. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and switch over to the presentation, and you'll hear me in the background. But I wanted to come on first to let you know that we need to change the economic future of our local communities, and that can be, for your particular family or friend circle, or it can be for your postman, your Amazon Prime delivery guy, or anything. And now that everything is so in such disarray, it is important now that we come together collectively to do things that are outside of the norm, yes, but it still works. But the end result is your mindset has to be to pursue better, to want better, to desire better, and to not let anyone else come in to change your mindset. We are so easily persuaded. But I wanted to come on and let you know that it's something that you can pursue. It's something that you can do. You just have to do it with a group of people that want to make change. And that's change financially. Money talks. I don't care who you are, whatever, money talks. And having extra money to do some of the things that you want to do, or to pay for services and things for other people that you haven't been able to do before. That's all that's it about. That's all it's about. Whether it's something that you want to do personally or whether it's something that you want to do for your community. A lot of it always requires money. And if you don't have the extra money, it never gets done. But if you have a way to create the money, or to make the money, I'm sorry. If you have a way to make the money, it's a no-brainer. You have to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the video, and then I will come back towards the end to let you know how to become a part. And hopefully this will bless you getting tongue tied, as much as it has blessed me. Alrighty, y'all, let's get to it. Alrighty, you guys, so here we go. We are at the Family and Friends Savings Plan. This is the modern day susu. One gift of $500 equals $4,000 in monthly residual income. I know that seems a little far-fetched, but like I said, if everybody has the mindset of making change financially, it can definitely work. So let's talk about what is a sou-sou. It was definitely a term that I wasn't familiar with. It's been called other things that I've heard. The hand, and then it had some people called it a money pot, and I'm not sure of any of the other terms, but the technical term for it is a sou-sou. And a sou-sou is a group of people who come together and make regular weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly monetary contributions to a common fund, which is then dispersed as a lump sum to one member in each cycle. So basically, the sou-sou, that's the definition of it. In this particular group, it's monthly that you contribute to it, so not weekly or bi-weekly. So in this process, we everything is done on a flower. each person becomes a part of a flower. Within the flower, there are several positions. There is the fire here, there's the air here, there's the earth here, and then the water here. So on week 1, when you come in, you are considered a fire, which is right here. So the fires, when you come in on week 1, the fires then give the $500 to the person in the water position. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 people are then gifting $500 to the person in the water. And that totals up to the $4,000 a month. And then once you are in the fire position on week 1, week 2, you move to the air position. And in the air position, once you move here, that is when you then bring in your 2 people to be moved to the fire position. So week 1, you're here. Week 2, you're in the air. And that's when you bring in your other 2 people. So basically, the gist of this is it's each one brings 2. So you bring your $500 gift. And then on that following week, your week 2, you bring your 2 people in. So then your 2 people then become part of the flower that you're on. And they then do the same thing that you did on week 1 to give their $500 gift to the person that's in the water position. And on week 3, you move to the earth position. And the earth position, and I'll show you on the next slide. On week 3, that's when the flower splits. And the flower splits because then eventually all 4 of these airs have to break down to 2 earths and then down to 1 water, which is why the flower then splits. So in week 4, we're in the water position, and that's when you are then gifted $500 by 8 different fire positions there. So this is the week 3 split. So just for sake of names, so you see where we're talking about, I put some names here, and that way you can see exactly how it breaks down. So Anne is in the earth position, her week 3. And so in order for her to be put in the water, the flower has to split. So the flower splits, and all these people over here then go to this position over here. And the people down here go to this flower here. So Anne goes into the water. Beth and Barry then go to the earth. There goes Barry. There goes Beth. Their 2 fires that they brought in are now in the air positions. So these are Barry's. These are Beth's. And now their fire positions, just like everybody else, each one brings 2. Their fire positions that are now in the air position, they bring their fires. So it started with Anne bringing in Beth and Barry. Beth and Barry brought in their 2 people. Beth and Barry's 2 people brought in their 2 people. And now this process, which was week 1, week 2, week 3, now they're in week 4. So these fire positions, these new fire positions here, are now gifting their $500 to Anne. Okay? So again, it goes down to you start in the fire position, you move to the air position, you then move to the earth position, and then you move to the water position. So to kind of give you another visual of how it goes is you have your one-time gift of $500. You make the payment directly to the person in the water position. On week 4, you get paid by the fires. You take, of your $4,000, you take $500, the initial $500 that you invested, that you've now received back, and you put it back in to then have the residual income. So then it told us where you're basically making $3,500 a month residually. You start with your $500 investment, and you basically taking that $500 that you got back out of your 4,000 and you putting it right back in. And then the cycle starts all over again. You go back to the air position, but this time you don't have to bring in two people because you're in the residual flour. You don't have to bring two people back in. You're just reinvesting the $500 to keep the pot going. Okay. So again, it's the one-time $500 gift. That payment is paid directly to the person in the water position. When you're in the water position on your 4th week, you then receive the $500 gifts from the fire positions. Then you reinvest the initial $500 to stay in the rotation to then have the residual income. And that's basically what it is. Week 1, you're in the fire when you give your $500 gift to the person in the water. Week 2, you're the air right here. That's when you bring in your 2 people so they can then become fires and they gift their $500 to the person in the water. Week 3 is the split. You then move to the earth position. And then week 4 is the water. And that's when you make the $400. And you take out of that $4,000, you take 500 of it to then start the cycle all over again. And that's how you get the monthly residual. Okay. And of course, the one thing, the few things that I want to point out to you is that this is a effort where you need to bring in your 2 people to the fire position, but you also need to keep a lookout, because as your flower develops, you need to make sure that your fires have their people in place as well. I'll go back to one of the, so your fire positions right here, when you bring them in, they move to the air positions here. Okay. So you need to make sure that everybody that follows in behind you until you get to your week 4 are good to go. And that's one thing that I think some groups are not really emphasizing. And that's why this has a tendency of people like, oh, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Well, people think they just put in their 500 and tell 2 people about it, that's enough. And it's okay. But if you want to make sure that your flower is successful, you need to make sure that you have a lookout for everybody. And another key point is, if you talk to people and you have 8 people that are interested, you don't have all 8 people come in at one time, right? You slowly trickle people in, because you need to make sure that your fires here also have 2 people. So that's 1, 2, and then they both have to bring 2 people. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 people right there. And that's only on, that particular week. So it's very, very important that you don't just tell 2 people, but that you keep talking to people. You keep letting people know that this is something that they need to be a part of, because it's a continuous cycle. And in order for it to grow, more people have to be added. So to make sure that, your group it's flourishing and your flower is flourishing like you want it to, or like you need it to make sure that it's successful, everybody needs to fully understand that they need to keep a lookout for all the people connected to them. So this was your fire right here. These are your 2 fires. And now they're bringing in 2 more people. But you also need to make sure that these 2 people bring in their 2 people. Okay? And then those 2 people need to also have 2 people. So if you're continuing to tell people about it, you can make sure that your flower is fully developed, because you made sure that all the positions are filled. So when you get into the water position, you have, here are your 2 fires that you brought in with you, Barry and Beth. Here are their 2 fires that they brought in with them. And now their fires are these people here. These are the people that are gifting to you. right there. So it's very important, very, very important to make sure that you keep a lookout on your flower, that you fully know what's going on. Check in with people because it's a community. And that's why it's family and friends. It's because it's a community of people that are making sure that everybody does their part. If it's harder for somebody else, that they actually can come together collectively and get it done. Now, I've also heard of people splitting the cost, and I'll go back to kind of show you what I'm talking about. So, say you have a family member and they're like, "Hey, I really don't have the $500." Okay, well you get, well, do you have 250? Well, yeah. Okay, so if you have a family member, they have, one has 250, the other has 250. One brings in a person, the other one brings in a person. They can actually, co-op this particular position. So instead of them getting $4,000, they can split the 4,000 and have 200 apiece, 2,000 apiece. I mean, and then to reinvest for the $500 total, they will put the 250 in a piece again, which is an extra $2,000 for them a month. Well, 1,500. Well, 2,000 minus the 250 they both need to put in together in order to get back in. So either way it goes, it's a good amount of money that they can put aside for other things. And then eventually when they have their own, two people, they can go and invest again and start another flower. And in that way they can both eventually be gifted $4,000 a piece. And it's just that simple. And it's not to try to recreate the wheel or anything like that. It's simple. Week 1, bring your 500. Week 2, bring your 2 people. Week 3, get ready for the split. Week 4, you're in the water to be gifted. And it's just like that. And then you put your $500 back in to start the cycle all over again. And it just keeps doing that, month in, month out, month in, month out. Okay? Well, you guys, that's pretty much it. That was just an overview of the actual program itself, and it's pretty simple. Like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory. The core to it is everybody doing their part. We're bringing 2 more people in and adding people to the family, and to make sure that you lock down your flower along the way. Definitely, if you want to be a part of a flower that is looking out for each person involved and making sure that you understand the steps along the way, there is a form down below that you can click on to let me know you're interested. And I will also leave an email address down below if you have any questions that I could help you with. And of course, just know that it's not the easiest task to explain to people about making money, but for the right people, it is definitely an opportunity and a blessing to be able to do some different things, especially now with the economy being as unstable as it is. Not knowing where money's going to come from or when money will come through is a real big deal for a lot of people. So if you can spread the information to someone else, help convince someone else to basically change their financial future, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it, and it can be a blessing to you. So make sure that you click the link below to fill out the form to let us know that you are interested, and we will get back to you as quickly as we can. Until then, y'all, have a good one.